Tonight from Fayetteville, Arkansas, it's the only game in town. A top 25 showdown between LSU and Arkansas. Welcome to the SEC on ESPN. Another fantastic crowd at Baum-Walker Stadium, and they're ready for these two rivals to go head-to-head. The first of three between number 17 LSU and fourth-ranked Arkansas. Seems like a year ago Arkansas was fighting for a division title, and they're doing the same this season. This would be their first outright division title since 2011 if they can just keep their feet on the gas. We'll see if that will play out over the course of this weekend. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart, Eduardo Perez, and Kyle Peterson. Big weekend, big game. And for this Arkansas team that ended their season just a win shy of a national championship, looks like they're on pace to get back to Omaha.
It is. Short-term memory is what they've been able to have. Dave Van Horn has this team ready. And ever since the beginning of the season, after that dreadful loss at the College World Series where they were 1 out away from winning it all, they come in preseason ranked 12, but most importantly, their offense has really taken off. That middle of the lineup is a headache for any pitcher that's on that mound. And tonight, they're going to try to continue to win series here at Baum-Walker Stadium.
Meanwhile, for LSU, when they're going good, it seems they win in every conceivable way. But lately, they've been losing in every conceivable way.
Yeah, they have, but they're still in a decent spot within the SEC. And when you battle the rotation challenges that LSU has had this year, really to be at the spot that they're at is saying something. A lot of it's because of this guy right here, Josh Smith, who is healthy this year. And that's the biggest difference. Last year battled injuries. This year is at the spot that they wanted Smith, and that's shortstop and hitting right in the middle of this lineup. For Smith, the offensive numbers have been outstanding. So is the speed. 15 stolen bases this year for Smith, who really has led an LSU offense that is maybe a little bit top-heavy, but at times can be a real big headache for the other side.
452 average over the last 10 for Smith in SEC games, and they need some SEC wins. LSU trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. A thriller last time out against Ole Miss. They homered 3 consecutive at-bats to send it to extra innings, but then lost in 10. So that's what it looks like. LSU middle of the pack in just about every offensive category in the SEC. Meanwhile, college graduate Isaiah Campbell gets the ball for the Arkansas Razorbacks. 8-1 with a 2.54 ERA for the Kansas City native out of Olathe, Kansas.
Tell you what, he has turned into the real ace of this staff. Eddie looks the part of an ace. They wanted him to be that role last year. This year has really moved into it, and he's been so much more efficient. The fastball's low 90s. He's added a split this year that he uses kind of as a changeup and a cutter off of that. But Campbell, we saw it in bits and pieces last year. We've seen it consistently this year. He has been an ace.
He will face a bevy of lefties in this LSU lineup. 6 of the 9 bat from the left side against the right-hander, including Josh Smith. And Smith watches a pitch miss low and in.
As a hitter, very difficult to square up. Throws right over the top. You have to be able to lay off pitches up in the zone against him. Something that he does really well, changing speeds, but at the same time being able to then execute, locating, swings and misses, again, up.
Cold, drizzly day here in northwest Arkansas. First pitch temperature at 51, and it will drop throughout the night. And that one dropped by Casey Opitz, the catcher, and took it off his bare hand. Not much of a breeze to speak of, but the ball does carry very well in this ballpark. The guy borrowed Eduardo's poncho for the night. And the lady borrowed KP's hat.
It's a big hat.
Lefties hitting 28 points higher against Campbell than righties, and the pitch to Smith misses low. 2-2. Smith with a little flare down the left field line. It drops in front of Christian Franklin. And LSU's got their leadoff man on.
If you saw Isaiah Campbell last year, you knew that he had a chance to be really good. This year he's put everything together. The ERA significantly dropped. The one that stands out to me, though, is just the control. He has been so much more efficient. 13 walks, 87 strikeouts coming in. And the one thing that Dave Van Horn said to us today is he's now found the ability to minimize risk. Last year, if they got one, they were maybe going to score 4 and 5 an inning off of Campbell. This year, he's been a lot better at controlling just the situation when guys get on base. He's grown up.
He was their third starter last year and got great experience in the postseason, including a couple of innings against Oregon State in the championship series. Last time out against Kentucky, Campbell worked 7 innings, allowed 5 hits and a run. That was an 8-1 Arkansas victory. Smith, 15 stolen bases on the season. Pitch grounded to the left side. Slow roller. Jacob Nesbitt has it. Productive out for Zach Watson. It advances Josh Smith into scoring position.
Now batting the right fielder, number 8, Antoine Duplantis.
Well, the Duplantis family was able to save some money on travel this weekend. Antoine coming to the plate in the 3-hole for LSU. His brother Mondo is a world championship pole vaulter, and he's in town with the LSU track and field team for the SEC championships. They grew up in the same house, and now they're sleeping in the same hotel for the weekend.
Couple rooms down, right?
Yeah, just 2 doors apart.
Wonder if mom and dad are in between.
Check swing, and Marcus Patillo said Duplantis did not commit. 1-0 the count.
So far, the Razorbacks defensively, they've played everyone straight up. Top-heavy lineup for the LSU Tigers right now from the left side.
Antoine Duplantis stepped into the starting lineup early on in his LSU career. Now he's trying to track down Dr. Eddie Furness for the all-time school record in hits. Furness now second in SEC history behind Mississippi State's Jake Mango. And the count 2-0 to Duplantis.
Dr. Eddie Furness. That sounds pretty good.
Three and 0 the count to Antoine Duplantis. Did you ever pitch against Eddie Furness?
I'm sorry?
Did you ever pitch against Eddie Furness?
No, I heard the question the first time. I just didn't necessarily want to answer.
I understand why you're sorry then.
Wow, and I'm sitting in the middle here. This is going to be interesting.
Welcome to town, Eduardo.
Last time we were here, we laughed through the entire Open, so I think we're got off to a better foot this time.
We are humming now.
Guys, that was a 3-0 changeup. Opitz is going to the mound now with a 3-1 count. Your Duplantis at the plate. Throws a 3-0 changeup. Most likely, you're going to get another one 3-1. Let's see how Campbell and Opitz decide on this pitch.
Duplantis went 5 for 6 last time out in LSU's extra inning loss at home to Ole Miss. That was a 19-15 final. And he rips this one into right center field. Dominic Fletcher can't get to it. Smith will be waved home by Nolan Cain. Standing up at second is Antoine Duplantis, and LSU strikes first with a double from Duplantis.
Well, Antoine Duplantis sees a 3-0 changeup, so what's he going to get here? Fastball, and capitalizes all over it. Still looking heater, doesn't allow that number one to beat him. Hits it in the right center field gap, and he knows he has two. As Fletcher fields it nicely, gets it in, drives in one, and an important run to get ahead for the LSU Tigers.
They never led in the finale against Ole Miss. They were down multiple times, including a 10-1 deficit at one point. Had a crazy comeback in the ninth to force extras. Cade Beloso played a key role in that comeback for LSU, even though they fell short. Beloso, freshman from River Ridge, Louisiana. 8 home runs on the season. He hits 25 points better against righties than he does lefties.
Eddie, we were standing out by the cage today. Beloso put on a show.
He did.
A few rounds in BP, and the wind was blowing out a little bit more than it is right now, but I mean, it is real power for this freshman.
He's strong, and I was telling you, Kyle, his neck size, I mean, it has to be a good 19 and a half. This thing is just all muscle.
Can't buy off the rack for his church clothes, can he? Ripped to the right side. His home run in the 9th inning against Ole Miss was a 456-foot no-doubter that was 107 off the bat. That came with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. LSU went back to back to tie the game. This will be the 17th pitch of the opening frame for Isaiah Campbell.
I like what Beloso's doing here with 2 strikes. Chokes up a little bit on the bat. Just trying to put it in play, make something happen, especially with a runner in scoring position and 1 out.
Beloso 383 with runners in scoring position. The league average is 293. Breaking ball in for strike 3 called. Campbell gets a big K for out number 2.
Beloso just couldn't pull the trigger on it. I mean, tracks it all the way in. It's like a slider right here from Campbell. He gets over the top of. Spotty really needed a strikeout right there, too. You're facing a left-hander. This LSU lineup is loaded with left-handers right there. But with the plan of standing on second base and just 1 out, you got to think punch out when it gets to 1-2 and gets Beloso looking on the slider.
Here's Chris Reed. An incredible story for Reed, who was off the team as of the fall. Was coaching a youth team, was playing a lot of golf, and otherwise was playing pickup basketball at the rec center. They had a need. He was welcomed back with open arms, and he's rewarded Paul Mainieri with opening that door with a .304 average and second on the team in on-base percentage. One and one.
Yeah, this is a different offense without Reed in the middle of it. And he's not going to hit you a lot of home runs. He has just 1 home run this year, but walks more than he strikes out. Barrels up a ton of balls, and he's one, and there's a few in this lineup to where if it's a big spot, you want Reed standing there.
Oh. 2 balls and a strike to Chris Reed. Higher batting average in conference play than in the non-conference for Reed. Fastball called strike. Scott Kennedy has the mask, and tonight the gloves on this chilly evening.
Reed didn't like that pitch. Pitch missed the location when the spot where Campbell wanted it. Reed looks back, knows the strike zone real well. As you said, more walks and strikeouts.
Two to Reed. Fouled off. Reed's a senior from Baton Rouge out of St. Michael. He was coaching his Traction Canes 10 and under gray team.
Traction Canes.
Yeah. That was the only pitching he faced for 8 months. The 10 and under guys.
I like it. The Canes got him ready.
Well, better be ready for some change-ups then, right?
That's right. Caught a piece of it to stay alive. Chris Reed has LSU in his blood. His cousin Ronnie played football at LSU. Cousin Sonny was on the gymnastics team. By the way, Dee Bro, the gymnastics coach of the pep rally and pep talk for him this weekend. They finished second in the nation. Pulled the breaking ball foul.
Danny, you got to go see your buddies out in left field, huh?
Oh, they miss me.
I know they miss you.
It's a little cold out there, Kyle.
So you're going to stay right here today, huh?
Well, hopefully they bring some food over.
2-2 pitch is popped up. Nesbitt on the chalk back into the diamond to take care of it. But LSU's able to get on the board off a double from Duplantis. 1-0 with Arkansas coming up.
College baseball is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Welcome back to Fayetteville. Tom Hart, Eduardo Perez, and Kyle Peterson. Game one of this three-game series. We'll be back for the third game on Saturday on ESPN2. It's already sold out, Saturday's contest, so that berm will be packed. Dave Van Horn has put together this Arkansas batting order. They have been top 5 in the SEC in most offensive categories. And he's got 4 straight lefties and 6 total against the right-hander on the hill for LSU here in game number 1 of this series. 309 average is 3rd in the league. 64 home runs is 2nd behind Vanderbilt. They're trying to win their first series in 8 tries against LSU. Mikael Hilliard, sophomore from just outside of Baton Rouge in central Louisiana, gets the call. And he's got a very interesting arsenal, including a big-time breaking ball.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination. He's kind of been forced into this opener role because of the injuries that LSU's had on the weekend and the movement of Zach Hess back to the bullpen. It's a cutter and a real 12-6 curveball. You don't see that combination very often. They need him to go fairly deep, though. I mean, opener in this one, you can't blow your bullpen too early. And for Hilliard, when it's right, it can be very, very good. There's a lot of swing and miss in that curveball.
Trevor Ezell making his 228th consecutive college start, swings at the first. Gavin Dugas has it, and there's one down. Mikael Hilliard will take that all day, all night.
Oh, no doubt, especially after already down 1. Pretty long, extensive inning there for Campbell, and you swing the first pitch coming in. Let me see. With that man on the mound.
Here's Arkansas's Casey Martin, who's looking for his first hit over the last 2 games. 0 for his last 8 with 3 strikeouts. He's hitting each of the first 3 spots in the batting order this year for Dave Van Horn. And he's provided him 11 home runs and 47 ribbies, a sophomore from Lone Oak, Arkansas. 2 years ago was the state's Gatorade Player of the Year, playing at Lone Oak High School.
Saw so much of Martin last year at third base. This year has made the transition to shortstop. Made some errors now. 18 errors on a year coming in for Casey Martin, but there is a lot of thump in this bat, and it's about as fast a guy as you're going to see in the SEC.
The downside to some of this Arkansas thump, evident with Martin, 3rd in the SEC in strikeouts with 57 Ks. There's a big breaking ball, hasn't tuned it in yet, and they count 2-2. Popped up and out of play. The scouting report, KP, said cutter. It's a fastball that Mikael Hilliard throws that has so much natural movement that it runs like a cutter would.
Yeah, he doesn't even really try to do it. It's just the way that it comes out of his hand. He's always thrown the fastball that way. We saw him throw the curveball in, and this at bat didn't get over the top of it. But when he does, it's a real swing and miss pitch.
Popped up into foul territory. C.J. Willis runs out of room. If you're into spin rate, then consider these numbers for Mikael Hilliard. His curveball has a 3,200 spin rate.
That's a lot.
Yeah. 32. That would be.
That's elite.
Granted, that's elite. That would be best in Major League Baseball
Yes.
right now if that were his average. That's not his average rate, but that would be his max rate.
Yeah, that's elite right there. And put it in comparison to Seth Lugo, which is one of the best when it comes to spin rate with curveballs from the New York Mets. It's impressive. And so
High,
is that.
deep to left. And we are tied with a swing from Martin.
Now, you can have all the spin rate you want, but if you leave the ball up in the zone like that against a hitter like Casey Martin, he's going to let you know. Casey Martin, this will be his 25th career collegiate home run. Hanging curveball. He knew it as soon as he hit it.
This kid can just show you so many different things. I mean, an electric athlete, still making the transition short, but he has that. I mean, there is some flash in that barrel when he gets it. That when he recognized that breaking ball up in the zone and tied it real quick.
And so there you go. 12th home run of the season for Martin. Nowhere to hide for Hilliard. This is Matt Goodhart, who has a 24-game on-base streak going. Second in the SEC with a .494 on-base percentage. Goodhart's in his first season in this program. He was at San Jacinto Junior College last year. He's from down in Magnolia, Arkansas, southwest corner of the state, where his dad Steve was a head coach at Southern Arkansas University for 23 seasons and had 764 wins. There's the curveball, and it's low and in. His dad started his college career as a GA at the University of Arizona under Jerry Kendall, where they won the 1980 College World Series with guys like Terry Francona, our buddy Wes Clements, and Craig Lefferts, among others.
And Wes watching this game right now. Trip down memory lane.
3 balls and a strike to Goodhart. Goodhart's hitting took off when he had a chat with his dad about his struggles earlier this season. His dad said, "Have you gotten your contacts looked at lately?" Got him changed out. Boom. Hitting took off. That one fouled off the thigh. He said the contacts were drying up at night, and he had a hard time picking up the spin. Got the new contacts, could see the spin. Lo and behold, you're on base 1 out of every 2 plate appearances.
Oh, I wish it were that easy. That's a good thing. And right now we're seeing Hilliard pounding him in, not trying to get those arms extended. Two pitches out of the zone that he's already swung at.
Goodhart was a .355 hitter at JUCO last year. Top 5 in the nation. Top 20, I should say, in average home run hits, ribbies, and walks. They went to the Junior College World Series. Curveball on the 3-2 is a little dribbler. Hilliard takes care of him at first, 2 down.
It's been misting pretty much all during batting practice. They still hit. The grass is wet. Hilliard right there on that fielding almost slipped. Left one of those marks that you guys usually leave in the golf. On the golf.
Little divot halfway.
A couple divots in the golf course.
Divot halfway to home plate.
Please replace your divots. Here's Dominic Fletcher. Cleanup hitter with 9 home runs. And the curveball misses inside. What does that tell you as a hitter when Mikael Hilliard throws his curveball on a 3-2 pitch in the batter prior?
Well, it tells you how much confidence he has in it. He'll throw it in any count. He has a lot of – he trusts that pitch, and he needs to be able to throw it for a strike. He needs to be able to throw it for a chase pitch. So then that fastball can work from the same arm slot up in the zone to see if he can get some chases.
He was asked about getting that spin on the curveball, and he said, I just focus all of the force into my fingers for max spin. Fletcher.
That's that pitch right there, up in the zone.
Well, and what makes that one better is the real curveball. Because when the curveball comes out of Hilliard's hands, the good ones start in the spot that fastball did right there, and that's why you saw the reaction of Fletcher. I think he was thinking potentially it was a curveball, then just held up.
Junior from Cypress, Texas, 31 career home runs for Dominic Fletcher. Wow, that's a thing of beauty, 2-2.
It's a thing of beauty if you can continue to execute it in on those left-handed hitters. Watch Fletcher flinch right here. That's all you need.
Somebody paged pinching ninja. Jammed him, and it will get onto the roof.
They have Rob watching tonight. If he's watching, he can spin one around for us. Been doing some stuff with Rob Friedman, the pitching ninja, the whole year. Yeah, if you could take that fastball, that high fastball, and overlay it with that real curveball that we saw Fletcher just take for a strike, that's when Hilliard's at his best, when he can get both those going.
Remember Dwight Gooden?
Yes.
Used to do it back in the day. That's exactly how he made his living.
Got him swinging at the curveball. It's the first K for Hilliard, but he gave up a solo shot. Casey Martin's 12th of the season tied us at 1. Martin took the curveball. He put it onto the berm. That started the party here in Fayetteville. Arkansas has been magnificent here at their home park this season, 26-5. It's really a 3-year run of great play in front of some of the best fans in college baseball. Go to the top of the second. LSU and Arkansas are tied at 1. And Daniel Cabrera will lead off the second. LSU got a run across in the first and a Josh Smith single and an Antoine Duplantis double. And then Arkansas answered with a Casey Martin home run. Daniel Cabrera is from Baton Rouge. Sophomore out of John Curtis High School in New Orleans, and then Parkview Baptist in Baton Rouge. Team best 9 home runs. Make it 10. Cabrera puts that one over the bullpen. It's a leadoff solo shot for Daniel Cabrera.
A couple no-doubter home runs already. Martin in the first. Now the sophomore Cabrera does it right here. It looked like a changeup that just kind of hung right in the middle of the zone. And this is where it's really going to fly tonight. If you get it up in that jet stream to right, that ball's going to go. Win or no win, though. This one's not staying at the ballpark. LSU bench knows that the minute it comes off the bat, 10th home run of the year for Cabrera gives the Tigers the lead right back.
Big thing for both teams. Home runs, as long as there's no one on base, that's when you give them up. That's how you keep your teams in it, even if those hitters take 3 left turns.
Gavin Dugas getting the start tonight for LSU at second base. Freshman trying to work his way out of a hitting slump. Hitless in his last 14 at-bats. Off the cap, Campbell will let Opitz take it, and he fires down to get him.
It's a nice play right there. That's coming out of that slot like a cat. Remember, we said the grass is very wet out there, soggy. Right play is get Campbell out of the way. He calls him out of the way immediately. Bare hands this baseball, throws off his right foot, throws a strike.
That's not easy now because all your momentum's going out towards the pitcher's mound right there, and the throw's got to go exactly the opposite way. But like a third baseman coming in and charging it, that's well done by Opitz.
So Dugas fails to get another hit, and this is after he was on fire leading into the mini slump now. C.J. Willis, freshman from Ruston, Louisiana, hitting .208 on the season. Fouls that one out of play. Willis earned some playing time with a pitch hit RBI double against Mississippi State and started the next couple of games. Had a great series against State. Looks at the breaking ball in the dirt. 2-1. He's a guy that was limited because of a torn labrum his senior year at Ruston High School and wasn't even clear to throw during fall ball.
Well, right now, he better be sitting on a fastball. If he throws him a changeup, so be it. But look, fastball right here. Try to catch it out in front. Good raw power.
Raw power into straightaway center field. Fletcher to the track and made the catch below the knees. Misjudged that one.
Goes a little bit too far, but you still love the routes that Fletcher takes right out there. When you're on the mound, you see an outfielder's numbers, that usually is not a very good sign. But with Fletcher right here, watch him turn. Turns, goes, gets to the spot he thinks it's going to come, and ultimately has to make a little bit of an adjustment at the end. But still, it's that dead sprint back to the track, then has just enough time to turn around and make the catch. He can really defend out in center field.
That's trusting your ears also in your sight off the bat. He thought it was going to go further, and so did I.
So 2 down in the second inning. Saul Garza, sophomore from Edinburgh, Texas, one of 2 catchers that LSU has used this season, along with Brock Mathis. Garza came to Baton Rouge by way of Howard College. They've raved about his receiving skills. Big body, wide target, and soft hands, according to Paul Maneri. Was a 31st round pick of the Cardinals coming out of North High School in Edinburgh.
Could see that acknowledgement from Casey Opitz, the catcher right there, after Campbell missed with that fastball up. 0-2, the exact spot he was trying to go to. Now if you want to throw that slider down and away, it's a good spot for it.
Blocked by Opitz, 2-2.
And it's just back-to-back right there. So you raise the eye level, then you come back with a breaking ball that starts in the exact same spot. That one just a little bit lower than Campbell wanted to throw it, but the approach is exactly what you want. If it's closer right there, he probably gets a swing from Garza.
Another one and another dribbler. Campbell flicks it over to first. One trip through the batting order for LSU. They've shown power, including Cabrera's 10th home run of the season.
Matt Cronin is 1 out away from giving Arkansas their first ever national title.
Popped up. Shotty's over there. So's Gate. Nobody gets it. Oregon State given another lifeline. Game 3 for the championship. Rutschman picks up his 15th hit. Boy, has he been a difference maker. Kevin Abel making it look too easy against a great team. 1 out away from a College World Series title. Strike 3. There it is. More than Abel. Kevin Abel. He retires the last 20, and he picks up his 10th strikeout, and the Beavers are on top of the college baseball world again.
This is the part of the broadcast where I remind everybody that the announcers do not choose the packages that run in the game. Arkansas fans, Scott Gustafson is our award-winning producer tonight. Hessen Kerstad at the plate. How do you bounce back from that?
I don't know. I mean, in talking to Dave Van Horn about it, and not a whole lot today, but he just said when it came out in the fall, it felt a little bit different. And they've got a lot of new names. And a lot of those new names have been really good this year. But I think they're better than he thought they would be, Eddie. When you see all the guys that leave from last year, you're not quite sure if Campbell can move into that ace role. You don't know exactly what your weekend rotation is going to look like after that. They're 17-7 in the league with 2 weeks to go, and Arkansas is in a position to be a top 8 national seed again.
Hessen Kerstad was such a big part of their postseason run last year. Coming off of a 4-for-13 series. And he can't find the breaking ball from Hilliard. Back-to-back strikeouts on the deuce.
Cal, that's an equalizer pitch. And he's used it a lot on the inside part against left-handed hitters. Successfully locating it well. It's a 12-6 break, something that a lot of these hitters are not used to seeing. And then it works as a changeup also because he takes so much off it.
The velocity difference is about 15 miles an hour when he's got it going, which I was thinking the same thing that you just said, to where it's hard to prepare for it because you just don't see it. There's not other guys that have a breaking ball like Hilliard does. What are you smiling at, Hart?
Well, I got a story for you. That's what I'm smiling. This is Jack Kenley at the plate. 0-1 to count. Texas A&M shortstop Braden Shoemaker is a pretty darn good hitter. When he faced Hilliard, the first pitch he saw was that cutting fastball. And he turned to the catcher and he said, "What was that?" Well, that was the fastball. The second pitch he saw was the curveball. And he goes, "What was that?" Well, that was the curveball. Shoemaker looked back at him. He said, "Well, which one am I supposed to swing at?"
It's just such a different combination. I mean, you don't see guys that throw cutters that throw a real 12-6 curveball. Hilliard's the only guy that I can remember that really consistently does it.
Little flare. Josh Smith, 2 down. And that'll bring Jacob Nesbitt to the plate. This week, our Sunday night baseball game is a great NL Central matchup between Christian Yelich and the Brewers and Javi Baez and the Cubs. They finish up a 3-game series at Wrigley, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern, 5 Central with Baseball Tonight. Sunday night countdown on ESPN and the ESPN app.
I see today Yelich has 16 home runs this year, 15 are at home.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Well, maybe he'll get some doubles and singles, but homers, I think he saves that for their ballpark.
How many against the Cardinals? Like 12 of them?
He's starting to spread it out, though. At the beginning, I think it was like 8.
Nesbitt sends a soft line drive to left, a 2-out single, second hit of the game for the Razorbacks, and that'll bring Casey Opitz to the plate.
And this is where Hilliard is going to have to make his adjustments. Against lefty hitters, he already knows what he wants to do. He wants to bust them inside, show them the fastball, cut it in a little bit, and the curveball. Against right-handed hitters so far, they've really found barrel. They've been able to extend already with a home run from Casey Martin, and right there Nesbitt with a line drive base hit.
Opitz from Centennial, Colorado, out of Heritage High School. He's hit into a league-high 7 double plays.
That'll be hard to do here.
It would be impossible.
No rollover outs, right?
Not tonight. Opitz was a 27th round pick in 2017. He was rated as the #1 catcher in the state of Colorado. Wow, this one's blasted to right, and the home run derby's in full swing tonight.
Well, it might not have been a double play, but it scores 2. And Opitz, being a catcher, observing exactly what he's done against the lefty hitters, was looking dead red in and was able to get his hands inside to get that barrel out. Pitches inside. As soon as it was hit, he knew it.
That's just his second home run of the season, too, for Opitz. I mean, that's not something he's known for. And for Hilliard, 2 outs, nobody on. It looks like he's really going to breeze through this second inning. 2-out single by the freshman Nesbitt. And Opitz puts the Hogs in front for the first time tonight with a home run.
That is the 3rd home run hit tonight. Cabrera's got 1 for LSU. Martin and Opitz for Arkansas. Yep, here's how he's showing his team. Here's how I did it. And here's Christian Franklin. Ball and a strike to Franklin, who's getting a start in left field tonight. Another Kansas City product, just like the starting pitcher Isaiah Campbell. Dave Van Horn grew up in Kansas City out of Winnetonka High School. 2 balls and a strike. Franklin 10 hits in his last 17 at bats, including a pair of doubles and 2 home runs.
Such a good equalizer pitch, that curveball, when he can throw it behind and counts also.
And land it. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have that big of a curveball that have a hard time throwing it for a called strike. Hilliard's shown the ability to do that tonight.
And then the fastball, it wasn't 131 miles an hour, but it was pretty good. He has struck out 3, but the long ball has ruled the day. Arkansas in front 3-2. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN from Baum Walker Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. A place that's going to be filled to the brim all weekend long. They'll meet again tomorrow night and then Saturday afternoon. And Saturday afternoon's game is sold out. Here's Josh Smith to lead things off for LSU. We'll get Dallas Keuchel bobbleheads complete with the bearded look when we come to the ballpark on Saturday.
We're picking the right days. It was last year, 2 years ago, I got the Benintendi bobblehead. That's in the office. So we'll throw Keuchel up next to him.
Smith rips one to short. Casey Martin retires his counterpart. And that'll bring Zach Watson to the plate. Interesting when you talk about pro potential with individual players, and then you start comparing guys who play the same position, and there's a trio of center fielders in this league that you might take long odds on to see who would have the best pro career.
Yeah, and have a chance to play for a while. Watson's definitely one of them. Was draft eligible last year as a sophomore, chose to come back. Dominic Fletcher, the center fielder for Arkansas, is going to hear his name called pretty early, too. The projections that you've seen for Watson have been maybe right around the second round.
And then there's that guy in Starkville, Jake Mangum.
Oh, yeah, him.
The SEC all-time hits leader, who's turned down both the Yankees and the Mets to stay in Stark Vegas.
Tell you what, I mean, with Mangum, Eduardo, I know you got a chance to see a fair amount of Jake last year in Omaha.
Right.
You just get the feeling he's going to figure out some way to get to the big leagues. I mean, he barrels up too many baseballs. Can absolutely defend. Ooh.
That's a fair ball, and it's off of Nesbitt's glove. Watson reaches.
And ultimately, the approach may have to change a little bit. He doesn't walk a whole lot. He's probably going to have to walk a little bit more, but he has the hit tool. I mean, without a doubt, he has the hit tool. J.J. Bleday has the power tool this year. 23 home runs, that leads the country. Austin Martin, if it weren't for Bleday, probably be the player of the year in this league. But I think Bleday's home runs are going to be enough. And Jake Mangum, 3 more hits in the midweek game this week. Now 363 career hits for Mangum.
Knows the strike zone really well, and that's what translates. You get scouts to see what and how you're going to be successful at the next level, and that's one of the key to success. Besides having a nice swing, does he need the power? I think he'll be good enough to be able to get to the major leagues with what he has, and he'll develop a little bit more of it. But the defense and the knowledge of the strike zone works for him.
And I think you'll see a little bit more power when he gets into pro ball because the power is there. He only has 1 home run this year. I get it. But that 1 home run was about 40 feet over the right field wall at Florida. So you know it's in there. The game just hasn't really focused on power. It's more just about getting on base.
Antoine Duplantis doubled home a run in the first inning. It's the only run of this game that wasn't scored via the long ball. He's hitting over .340 against righties this season. Campbell keeping tabs on Watson, who is a perfect 10 for 10.
Perfect 10 for 10, but you got Casey Opitz behind the plate, who's thrown out just shy of 50% of base runners this year. He's thrown out 18 of 37. And that'll change the offensive approach a little bit for LSU.
There's a lot of differences between these two programs statistically this season, but that might be the biggest because LSU's catchers have really struggled in that same department. Saul Garza, tonight's starter for LSU, has only caught 2 of 13. Sky high, shallow right. Kerstad for out number 2. And that'll bring Cade Beloso to the plate.
Now batting number 24, Cade Beloso.
As we go into the next half inning, we'll have a chat with LSU head coach Paul Mainieri. Expectations always high for LSU baseball. And they're on a slippery slope right now. They've lost 3 in a row, including a midweek loss. Fell to Louisiana Tech. It was a 12-1 loss for LSU. Coming down the stretch run. Penultimate weekend in conference play before we head to Hoover for the SEC tournament. Runner goes, pitches ripped foul, and nice hops by Jared Foster in the coach's box.
But as we get closer to Hoover, LSU is hoping they get a few arms back. Cole Henry, the freshman, didn't travel this week. They think potentially could get him at a ball game next weekend, but hopefully have him back by the SEC tournament. Jaden Hill, the freshman, the exact same thing. If they can get those two arms back, even if they're not starting, but if they can get those two arms back, this is a very different pitching staff. Henry looked like an ace his last 4 or 5 starts for LSU.
Struck out 12 against Florida. And it seemed like he was going to be the Friday night guy. They were going to move Zach Hess to the bullpen. They followed through on moving Hess to the pen. But Henry hasn't pitched since. 1-2 now. By the way, pitch count climbing for Isaiah Campbell. He rarely goes over 100 pitches in a game. He's already at 54. And has yet to get out of the third. Runner goes again. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second. Got him. No runs, a hit, and we go to the bottom of the third. Isaiah Campbell pitching with a lead. Between LSU and Arkansas, Tom Hart, Eduardo Perez, and Kyle Peterson in the booth. Please be joined by head coach Paul Maneri of LSU. Coach, this is a pitching staff for you that's been in flux over the course of the season. And so Mikael Hilliard gets the ball tonight. What are the expectations for him in terms of how deep he can go in this game?
Well, first of all, I don't think he's throwing the ball that poorly at all. He left a couple of curveballs up, and boy, the ball jumps out of this ballpark, that's for sure. I think he's throwing good, and I'm hoping to get his 4 or 5 innings. We'll see how it goes.
Paul, you've had a healthy Josh Smith the entire year. What has it meant to have him in the middle of this lineup and in the middle of the diamond every day?
Yeah, Josh has played great all year, Kyle. He, he's had a couple of errors in the last few games that have been uncharacteristic, but he's played really well defensively, and he's given us good at-bats practically every time.
Coach, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Paul.
Head coach Paul Maneri owns a national championship. And this is an LSU program that's had a lot of success, not just against Arkansas, but here in Fayetteville. They've won 7 straight series against the Razorbacks. Trevor Ezel saw just 1 pitch in the first, 1-1 now, to the transfer from Southeast Missouri State, where he was recruited originally by Missouri head coach Steve Beazer. Coming out of Bryant High School here in Bryant, Arkansas. Was a second-team Louisville Slugger All-American while playing in Bryant, which is just southwest of Little Rock. And he fouls this one off.
Got away with one there. Good hitters count. Supposed to throw that pitch in. Missed out over the plate. Ends up fouling it off. But Hilliard continues to pound in. Interesting to see how he will do second time around this lineup.
Just off the plate inside. Ezel has started all 228 college games he has suited up for, including his time at SEMO, where he was a first-team Ohio Valley Conference player. Hit .377 last year. Payoff is pulled foul.
Look at his stats. More walks than strikeouts. He's walked 42 times. The OPS is just shy of 1,000 coming in. He's 15 of 16 in stolen bases. But Ezel has been so critical and one of the main reasons why this Arkansas offense not only hasn't missed a beat this year, maybe better than it was last year.
That's why it surprised me that he's throwing at the first pitch of the game. Go in, roll over to second base. Instead of taking his time, he averages just a little under 4 pitches per at-bat. Good eye at the plate.
3 of his 6 home runs have come in SEC play. There's ball 4. There's a good eye. And a leadoff walk in front of Casey Martin, who did this against the Mikael Hilliard curveball first time.
Well, how about this one? You throw that big spin rate, doesn't matter if the ball's up. A good hitter like Casey Martin will let you know. Work on that signature home run shake on the way in. So far, 12 on the season, 25 in his collegiate career.
7 for his last 14 in SEC games. Last year, Martin set an Arkansas freshman record with 87 hits. He shares that record with his teammate Heston Kjerstad. We'll talk about Arkansas's deep run and why they're primed to go on another one, and maybe another one next season is when you can get older and get better, and that's what Kjerstad and Martin bring them, because they were so good as freshmen.
Yeah, and you can see the continued progression this year. There's still a lot of swing and miss. Martin 57 strikeouts, Kjerstad now 51 on the year, but the power's absolutely there.
Waved at the breaking ball, 1-1. Casey Martin was second team All SEC last year on the SEC All Freshman team, first team freshman All American. Led the team with a .345 average as a freshman. C.J. Willis will keep Trevor Ezell close to the bag. 15 of 16 on the base paths for the fifth-year senior. There he goes. Pitch out. Throw down from Garza. Sails over the head of Smith. Great job by Dugas to back him up. Keeping Ezell from picking up another 90.
Well, 1-1 count. This is exactly what you want to do. Trusting your pitcher that he will throw strikes when he falls behind and counts. But the ball sails on Garza. Rushed it a little bit. Saw the jump that Ezell got right there.
I think you will see this really consistently this weekend for Arkansas. When they get on base, they're going to test LSU, because that's the one thing LSU has not done very well this year, and that's throw guys out. Garza's now thrown out just 2 of 14 this year.
2-2 to Casey Martin.
You're the runner at second base. You have to be aware now of the curveball in the dirt. Martin's already chased it once.
Popped up and out of play.
It's a good time to throw it here, too.
First base open. There's plenty of swing and miss in that one. Martin hit the home run on the curveball, but that one was way up in the zone. If he can bury it down, hard to lay off that one.
It's going in.
KP, when you watch tape on Mikael Hilliard, do you see very many curveballs in the dirt, or is he typically throwing it for a called strike?
He'll throw some. He's got 9 wild pitches this year, and that's one of the reasons why. It's those curveballs that are down in the dirt. I mean, when it moves that much, you got to throw some of them down there.
It's only the 6th start of the season for Hilliard, who had a fantastic freshman season for LSU last year.
He saved them on the mound last year. He was their most consistent arm over the course of a weekend.
So freshman All-America. Got a head-to-head win against #1 overall pick Casey Mize when LSU beat Auburn. Dad Keith played tennis at Southern University. His mom Lisa was a high school track runner. Little squibber up the line. It will go foul if he would have let it go. Instead, the sophomore tried to make a play, and everybody's safe.
That ball would have gone foul right there. And I think you underestimated the speed of Casey Martin getting down that line. Got a well-executed curveball right here. The spin, but Martin takes off. Once he gets the full throttle, would have gone foul. Instead, Martin beats this one out. Got to give him credit for the hustle tough play for Hilliard, trying to throw it over Martin.
And if it's anybody other than Martin running, then maybe you take that chance. But with Martin getting down to first baseline, I mean, it looked like it was probably going to go foul, but I think you got to take your chances there.
So Matt Goodhart at the plate for Arkansas with 2 on and nobody out.
Good change up.
All right, let's see. We got him down to first base here, right? We got 397.
He got 397 and he fell backwards, if you think about it, with the swing. Wasn't even going on a swinging type bunt play.
And inside the Parker, it was last weekend.
He had 3 this season,
Yes.
2 of them last week. Chopper to the right side. Dugas only plays at first. It pushes home a run as Ezel scores. RBI ground out for Matt Goodhart. 4-2 Arkansas. Martin ends up at second.
Well, he got the ground ball and do soft contact, but just too soft. Fletcher, good speed, good jump on the secondary. At least you get an RBI out of that.
Great crowd once again here at Baum Stadium. It'll be like this all weekend, if not better. Here's Dominic Fletcher. Cleanup hitter struck out on a Mikael Hilliard curveball to end the first. And so Hilliard starts him with the same pitch.
I was about to say, he made him look bad on 2 curveballs in the last at-bat. Now you throw him another one. You're going to throw him the fastball. You throw it just to show up out of the zone to go right back to the curveball.
Fletcher had a monster trip to Omaha, hit .346 in the College World Series with a pair of home runs. He had a 4-for-4 day against Texas Tech. So now where does Hilliard go?
Here comes the curveball.
In the dirt. And if you're Casey Martin, you better be aware of anything in the dirt. You get a good secondary. I don't see Garza being able to get him out at third.
Good take there from Fletcher. I think I'd make him do it 2 times in a row, though. For Hilliard, I'd throw the exact same thing and see if you can get a swing.
Now let me ask you this: with all the patterns that have been going on, he's been going curveball, fastball up, curveball. Does he go fastball up again out of the zone?
I would throw that same pitch. I would throw the curveball again right here.
There it is.
Balk.
Wow. So that'll put Martin at third. Did you see it live?
No, I saw Scott Kennedy at home plate umpire. I saw both hands go up right there. He must have just breezed through his balance or through his set position. It's about the only thing that could happen right here. Watch Hilliard.
Looked like it stopped to me.
Yeah. I didn't think it was.
That brings the
obvious.
infield in. This is a game changer right here for Fletcher now. Just put the ball in play.
Just caught a piece of it. Let me ask you the pitch before. Ignore the balk for a moment. If you've had such success against Fletcher with a breaking ball, why try to be too fine with it? Why not just spin it up there?
Well, you don't want to hang it.
Well, I understand that part of it.
You still want some on the inside part of the plate that ultimately, by the time it gets to Fletcher, is not in the strike zone. You make it look like a strike and have it end up down and out of the zone. He threw the one he wanted to right there. Fletcher just got a piece.
Misses inside. Mikael Hilliard in his first fall on campus at LSU struggled a little bit until pitching coach Alan Dunn pulled him aside. He said, you don't have to be too perfect. He was trying to be perfect on 2-0, 3-0 pitches and was having a hard time succeeding. Infield in with a runner at third, the 2-2. Just off inside, full count.
All right, here comes a curveball. 3-2, there is no way I'm throwing a fastball right here to Fletcher. Right now he's throwing 2 fastballs that have cut on the inner part of the plate. It's time for Garza to block a curveball.
Left it up, and this one's banged towards the wall in right center. Off the scoreboard, 2-run shot for Fletcher.
Well, you said it. Why not just throw a curveball? Kyle answered a couple pitches before, because if you hang it, that's exactly what Dominic Fletcher can do. Great power, pitch stays up. It flattens out. Easy with Dominic Fletcher's bat speed. And my goodness, 3-2, you do not have to throw that pitch for a strike. Just because it's 3-2, the hitter has shown that he's chased it already. Even if first base wasn't open, I think Fletcher was already committed.
Heston Kjerstad at the plate. In the first 33 1/3 innings pitched by Maikel Hilliard this season, he allowed 2 home runs total. So far tonight, he's allowed 3. And Kjerstad leads Arkansas in home runs with 13. That ball is smoked. Three runs in, 1 man on, and 1 out here in the third as they call the Hogs.
This is where Hilliard has to understand there's no one warming up in the bullpen. The first of 3 games this series, you cannot use up your bullpen, especially against this offense.
And that's the challenge that LSU has on the weekend right now. You don't have Cole Henry, who really had proven to be a guy that looked like an ace. The decision has been made to move Zach Hess back to the bullpen, which I think is right. And so they're searching to find those guys that can get them 5 or 6 innings and really give them a chance to save the bullpen opening night.
Maikel Hilliard pitching in front of a rowdy crowd here at Baum-Walker Stadium. One of the reasons he signed with LSU was when he took his first trip to the Alec Bach Stadium at a 15-year-old. There are 2 things he remembered from that game. Number 1 is that Jared Poche was on the mound. Number 2 is that the atmosphere was absolutely crazy. He's getting the other end of that here tonight. There's a great feature written on him by Ron Higgins on NOLA.com last year when Hilliard was having such a unique and successful freshman season. 1-0 to Jack Kenley. This one is going to drop in front of Zach Watson. Headed to third is Kjerstad. Throw there is cut off. Smith with a wise move, and runners at the corners for Arkansas. Maikel Hilliard has thrown 65 pitches. His team trails 6-2. And behind him in the right field bullpen, Riggs Threadgill, freshman right-hander, is starting to get loose.
These last 3 left-handed hitters for the Razorback, Fletcher, Kjerstad, and Kenley, they did not look good the first time up against Hilliard, but the fastball is starting to leak a little bit more arm side. They've made their adjustment.
Upstairs, 1-0. Jacob Nesbitt came in scuffling with just 1 hit in his previous 18 at-bats. But he singled in his first trip to the plate tonight. Nesbitt hitting in the 7-hole. Has a specialty. It's a sac fly. He's hit 8 of them this year, 3rd most in the nation. 1-2. A .272 average for Nesbitt coming in, but .323 with runners in scoring position. That's almost 30 points higher than the league average. Runner goes from first, pitches low, throws second. Got through, but safe.
Looked like it may be a strike him out, throw him out right there. And that one really wasn't on Garza. The ball was there in time. It's a fastball, so not the ideal pitch to run on.
Yeah, it came up.
Well, yeah, I thought I got there in the air with my bare eye. Dugas, when that glove comes all the way up, then doesn't have enough time to get the glove back down to get the tag down. 8 stolen bases of the year for Kenley. The Hogs now 2 for 2 in stolen bases today.
Dugas making just his 8th start of the season for LSU. Here's Casey Opitz. He murdered a ball last time up. It was a 2-run home run. This is second long ball of the year.
A little fatigue setting up for Hilliard also with that fastball. Remember how much control he had with it. He's missing now last couple pitches with the heater arm side.
He asked Garza to go through the signs again. Garza tried to bring that one back. Scott Kennedy didn't see it. Ball and a strike to Opitz. We've had a great history of catchers here in this Arkansas program. Grant Cook was the starter on their College World Series team last year. Curveball in the dirt. James McCann in the big leagues.
Tigers, isn't he? I think he is.
He's waiting for Eduardo to chime in. Last I saw him, he was with the Tigers. It might have been last year, though.
Or the White Sox. That's why I was a little quiet. I think it's the White Sox.
Well, that was why I asked a question.
He was with the Tigers.
Isn't he? Uh-oh. Kerstead just about got caught in no man's land.
Got a couple big home runs also for the White Sox this year.
Yeah, he's with the White Sox.
Mm-hmm. 350 average. I believe he's 0 for 2 tonight for the Pale Hose.
For the White Sox?
Yep.
Yes.
Three balls and a strike to Opitz. There's ball 4. Razorbacks are going to send 9 to the plate here in the 3rd inning.
Got to give him one more hitter. Christian Franklin struck him out last time. Right-handed hitter. Try to get out of this one. With the bases, oh my. Here come the Hats.
Bases are loaded. Now for the bottom of the 5th, they'd have to change the glassware.
Love the tradition here.
Christian Franklin out of Rockhurst High School in Kansas City. Looks at a curveball for a strike. The guy's got 2 mugs. Double fisting from row 2.
Good pitch. Cutter right there to see if Franklin would chase. Did not.
Essen Kerstad, the runner at third. Jack Kenley behind him at second. And Casey Opitz, following the walk, is at first. Bases juice for Franklin. One and two. Franklin hitting .250 with the bases loaded this season. The league average is .324.
Now trust Garza. Throw a curveball right out in front, have him block it, swing and miss, and he can just step on the plate.
Just missed it. 1 and 2 still to the 9-hole hitter.
Not a lot of teams in the country can have your 9-hole hitter hitting above 300 with 6 home runs and slugging close to 500. The depth of this Arkansas offense is pretty impressive.
Franklin is a much better hitter with runners in scoring position than he is overall. .278 without runners in scoring position. Coming in, he was at .360 with runners at second base or third. Curveball pulled to the left side. Reed has it to second for 1. Dugas to first.
That's 3.
We've been playing for 4 outs for like 3 of the last 4 innings. Dominic Fletcher with a 2-run home run. The ball flying out of the ballpark tonight. The third for Arkansas. They send 9 to the plate in the third, and they lead 6-2. This is the SEC on ESPN from Baum Walker Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We go to the top of the 4th with Arkansas up 6-2. A homer binge for both sides coming off of an LSU finale against Ole Miss where they combined to hit 7 home runs with the Rebels. We've seen 4 home runs in the first 3 innings already tonight. Chris Reed at the plate. 0 for 1 with a pop up to third.
And one thing you have to look at also, and Cal, when pitchers are on the bench for a while, especially after a long inning, 9 came up in that bottom half of the third inning, you don't see them with really good control. And so far, 2-0 count right now to Reed.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a few to find it. It was always a weird feeling in there because you want your guys to score a bunch of runs, but you start getting jumpy if you're sitting in there for a while. If you're going to score a lot, just score them really fast so then we can get back out there.
Next pitch for Campbell will be his 60th. He averages 94 pitches per start. And talking with Dave Van Horn this afternoon, it's Campbell's efficiency which has allowed him to get deep into games and avoid the wear and tear. Franklin, wow.
Did he jump over the line? Was that trying to stay?
I tell you what, that
he
was
hurdled
pretty
it,
athletic because it looked like he was going down. I mean, it kind of spun the wheels for a minute when he's going after this one, and then makes a pretty athletic move just to make the play. What's the right foot? Right foot kind of goes out from him right there.
And when you're playing left field, the ball has the appearance that it actually comes back into play. So you see a lot of left fielders overrun the fly balls, especially against left-handed hitters that are hit from left-handed hitters.
Look kind of like Baryshnikov at the end of that play.
Hey.
A grand jeté.
Get a Mikhail Baryshnikov reference from you. I did not have that on the bingo card. I didn't see that one coming today.
It's a few things that you've missed recently, including your packing limitations. Pull to the right side, foul.
Hey, You know, like when you're talking to a coach and they look at you and say, hey, this one's off the record. You think that maybe if you make a mistake, you don't bring a shirt, that's just implied to be off the record. Apparently that's not the case, Eduardo.
No. That's, again, I'm stuck in the middle.
To first and handled by Zell. 2 down. Game 6 for you between the Warriors and Rockets in Houston, Friday 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Golden State a win away from eliminating Houston from the playoffs for the 4th time in the last 5 years. What is KD's status? NBA Countdown gets it all started at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Well, just to peel back the curtain a little bit, Eduardo didn't have a shirt. You didn't have a shirt. I packed enough for a couple people, but the text chain we had going on this afternoon, trying to figure out who was wearing what. There are high school girls who have spent less time planning their prom outfit than you two did in the text chain today. Little dribbler. Opitz fires to finish the frame. That was a quick one.
Don't act like you weren't in the middle of that. You were in the middle of that too, Hart.
12-pitch inning for Isaiah Campbell, middle of the 4th.
I'm Andrew Benintendi. I played in Omaha with Arkansas, the College World Series. It was awesome to get there for the state and for ourselves and our team. It was really fun. You got fans from all over the country coming to watch those teams compete, and it's what every team works for every year. To compete at that level is a good time.
Andrew Benintendi still impacting this Arkansas program in many ways. In fact, this is why Heston Kjerstad was first turned on to Arkansas by Benintendi's exploits. And the Razorbacks, with 6 runs in the first 3 innings, coming to the plate in the bottom of the 4th. Long list of big leaguers, including Benintendi, who's been with the Red Sox his entire career. Sporting some big league hair as opposed to the college look. Razorbacks have chased Mikael Hilliard. It'll be Riggs Threadgill, the freshman right-hander, on the mound. And he misses low and in with a fastball, 1-0. Threadgill missed a good chunk of March with an injury. He's been used sparingly this season. Freshman from Fredericksburg, Texas. Went an inning and 2/3 against Ole Miss last weekend. Allowed 2 hits. This will be just his 10th appearance of the year. And KP, you mentioned it earlier. This is an LSU team in a program that's had to turn over rocks to find pitchers to fill out the rotation. Wow, a moonshot from Ezel, and that is long gone. Hello, launch angle.
There's one spot that left-handed hitters like and have always loved. It's down and in. And Ezel picked this pitch up quickly, opened the hips up, saw it, cleared it, and there was no doubt about this one.
How important has this guy been for them this year?
What a pickup.
I mean, you get Ezel over, who plug in at the top of the lineup. He steals a ton of bags. Has the ability to do that. That's his 7th home run of the year. It's a scary offense.
It's not only that he steals a lot of bags, it's that he's only been caught once. He knows when to go.
He's 16-17 this year.
Now a 9-game hit streak and a 3-hit game for Casey Martin. A home run and a pair of singles.
This is a scary part again of the Arkansas Razorbacks. They will not let up. Offensively, they take good swings, productive swings, and they make adjustments in game.
I will be floored if Martin doesn't run first 3 pitches of this at bat.
Why is it such a good idea from Arkansas's perspective to send him?
You just got to keep trying. I mean, Garza's now thrown out 2 of 15 this year. And that's the one thing Arkansas has done a fair amount this year. They've run a lot. 16 stolen bases now for Ezell. Martin has 8. Up and down his lineup, they're aggressive on the base pass.
Little dribbler. Smith to Dugas on to first late. Oh, they got him, he said. Might take a look at that. Michael Phillips with the punch out of first.
Now they'll take a look at that one.
And this group will get together.
Matt Goodhart's still standing on first base. I think he's going to stay there. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Consolidated replay. Arkansas has asked the umpires to take a look at this one. And so back in Birmingham, Paul Gillier with 2 officials sitting next to him. And this is the only game tonight. Light load for those guys.
Quick. This one will be pretty quick.
Scott Kennedy, crew chief, along with Michael Phillips, who had the call, put the headset on.
Oh, yeah. Kirstead does the right thing, stepping right in front part of the bag. Said Kirstead, it's Goodhart. So many lefties in this lineup.
Fielder's choice for Goodhart. He now has a 25-game on-base streak. Oh, pardon me, 24. He's 0 for 3 tonight officially, and that'll bring Dominic Fletcher up. 2-run bomb for Fletcher last time.
No easy task also for Threadgill. You get to start him, and he gets to start fresh, a clean inning, but against the top part of the lineup.
Yeah, and you start with Ezell, who greets you with one in the street to right.
Yes, he did.
Behind him with the breaking ball, that will allow Goodhart to scamper to second on a wild pitch from Riggs Threadgill.
All right, so did you guys play football all grown up?
Yeah.
I grew up in Puerto Rico.
Look at these. Okay, this is Michael Phillips, first base umpire. You remember those Newman gloves?
Yes.
Like the tackified Newman gloves that when you got them, I mean, you thought it was the absolute coolest thing in the world.
I thought they were out of business.
Huh?
I thought they were out of business.
They're just in the umpire business now. That's it. They just limited it to the umpires. I mean, like you stuck your hand up in the air and the football stuck to it. It was the greatest feeling.
I needed a Newman glove.
Football, but Hart, you really did play football?
Oh, yeah. I played football in college, Kyle Peterson.
What?
Fill you in later. Here's the 3-0 to Fletcher. So you got the Newman gloves over first. Then you got third base coach Nate Thompson, who's going with the throwback kicks. I believe those are the Air Force Ones colored in, or those the Jordans?
His shoe game, by the way, is always phenomenal.
Yeah, those are the J's.
Phenomenal.
It's all throwback right now on opposite sides of the diamond. Taylor Smart, same brand, different cut. Here's Kirstead. Hesson Kjerstad was a 36th round pick of the Mariners in 2017. out of Randall High School in Amarillo, Texas.
That leg kick look bigger to you this year?
Yes.
Kirsten?
A lot more motion also in his body. But when he comes to a hitter's position, he's consistent in getting there. See how that bat waves.
Yanked down the line, a foul.
I think it's impressive that he has, in his career, 28 hit by pitches. They pound him in all the time. Gets in that hitter's position. As long as he gets that leg down, that foot down in time, he's okay. He just has to be aware that he has to start early enough to not be caught in between.
That may have been my problem. Maybe that's why I couldn't hit. A leg kick. That had to have been it.
No, some people just are not meant to hit. You can hit a golf ball, though.
Another one behind a hitter, and it did hit him.
29 in his career.
11th this season. Clipped in the heel, and the bases loaded for Arkansas again. They sent 9 to the plate in the third. And they'll send at least 6 here in the fourth.
Threadgill has not been able to throw that breaking ball at all for a strike. Not a lot of exposure out there and repetitions.
It's okay.
And showing
too.
right now.
You don't have to try to throw your best one every time. And it seems like for Threadgill right now, when he throws that breaking ball, I mean, he is trying to throw the best breaking ball he's ever thrown in his life every time.
Jack Kenley at the dish, 1 for 2. Kenley from Germantown, Tennessee, right outside of Memphis. Wow, he hits that one to the commissary. Gone again. A grand slam for Kenley. Second home run of the inning for the Razorbacks. 5th home run of the game.
Wow. Route is on right now. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, 5 in the fourth for Arkansas.
Threadgill can't find it out there, and when he does, it's flat. And they're all capitalizing on it.
And for Paul Maneri and LSU, you got to have him get you some outs just for the balance of this weekend. I mean, you know, at this point, the chances of coming back. Now, granted, they came back from 10-1 against Ole Miss to tie it up last weekend. But at this point, you just want to get through it with as intact a bullpen as you possibly can for games 2 and 3.
4-pitch walk puts Nesbitt aboard.
Here comes Coach Dunn now to be able to calm him down. This is a tough one. You get a freshman up there. You get this hostile territory where these fans are going nuts. Full house. Whew.
They expect to set an attendance record on Saturday, and if the weather cooperates, it might just be one heck of a party.
Yeah, that's where I was going. So we got a sellout, like no standing room only, no nothing for Saturday. Tomorrow, the only thing that's left is standing room only. Now, this place, it is one of my favorite places in the country to come, because when it is rocking, it usually is. They show up, it is loud.
This place is only going to get bigger. They're going to add on in the right field corner. We got to sit in on a meeting with the architects from HOK today, and sneak peek, it's going to be awesome. Going to go right on top of the visitors' bullpen, pitching lab, locker room, coaches' offices. And by the time that thing's finished, if they keep playing like this, there might just be a World Series trophy in the lobby. Opich hit a 2-run home run his first time up. Ball 7 chant going.
Eddie, have you seen that? Have you been on College Station, seen them do that? Have you ever seen it on TV when the whole, I mean, there'd be 5,000 of them in the stands yelling ball 7?
We were there.
Oh,
we were
yeah.
there last year. And maybe next
you go next
weekend.
Week,
well, Tom and I will be there.
Thanks for the invite.
Well,
Ice cream on me next week at Bluebell Park, all right?
It's free.
He's only been there once. He doesn't know that.
do I need to do an extra couple miles for that Bluebell ice cream?
You may.
And the Texas barbecue.
Get the steps in.
Runner goes. 26 pitches, ball 4. Back-to-back walks for Riggs Threadgill. Will Ruppel is warming up in the LSU pen.
Yeah, this is not pretty. So far, 3 walks, 1 hit by pitch, 2 home runs, and 1 single this inning.
Once again, Christian Franklin is the 9th batter of the inning for Arkansas.
Christian trying to join the party. He's already ended the 2nd inning, the 3rd inning. Okay, I'll say it. Hits it into a double play. He'll end the 4th.
He's the only guy that hadn't scored a run today for Arkansas.
Little one hopper squibs over Dugas and gets into right field. And the bases are loaded for Arkansas again. LSU looks lost tonight.
Yeah, I mean, even when they get a chance to make a play right here, Dugas just kind of, I don't know if he got caught. I'm not quite sure what happened. Off the edge of the bat.
I think he thought it was hit a lot harder than what it was, and with the spin.
Razorbacks will send 10 to the plate in this inning. They already lead 12-2. Trevor Uzel started this inning with a shot to the street. He is 1 for 2 tonight. There's a patron at Foghorns across the street who's wondering where the baseball came from that rolled underneath his bar stool. Park will hold this one. Cabrera. Catch made. Tagging from third, Nesbitt. He will score with ease. Arkansas adds to its lead. Casey Martin is a perfect 3 for 3. We'll hear what Dave Van Horn has to say about his squad. And I know recency bias is real. But with all due respect to Vandy, Arkansas looks like maybe the best team in the SEC based on this performance tonight and what they've done all season.
Yeah, I mean,
Is there any way?
Who do you take?
Is there any way Mississippi State's in that conversation?
I think they are. Yeah, even though Mississippi State came here and Arkansas swept them, but yeah, I think those are the three for me. Mm-hmm. Those teams right now in the league, a step above everybody else.
0-1 to Martin. Homered in the first, singled in both the third and the fourth. So to expand and assume, you would say those are three teams in the SEC that have a chance to win a national title.
Yes.
How many other teams nationally would be in that same conversation with those three? UCLA and Stanford come to mind. Anybody else? Louisville?
Louisville, yes. Vandy got them in a midweek this week. Texas Tech for me. Texas Tech absolutely is. I think you can make an argument for Georgia in this league, too. Emerson Hancock is going to be back this weekend for Georgia, their ace.
A lot of great baseball in the SEC, and in the West, Arkansas looking to prove that they're the best. 2 home runs in the fourth, including this. A Jack Kenley grand slam. Tom Hart, Eduardo Perez, and Kyle Peterson in the booth. Dave Van Horn, Arkansas's head coach, joins us on headset. Coach, how would you explain or describe your offensive production so far tonight?
Well, they've got some big hits. I guess we have 4 or 5 home runs, obviously, and you never expect that. I knew the ball was going to jump tonight just because of batting practice with the wind's blowing out lightly, air's thin, and just watched LSU hit as well, and they were hitting balls all over the street out there. So we've just put together some good innings. We've taken some pitches and gotten into some good hitting counts.
What have you seen from Isaiah Campbell so far?
Well, he struggled the first few innings, to be honest with you. I think that he was just trying to be a little too nitpicky and just trying to hit, just try not to let him hit it. Just pitch, do what you're doing. And they give them credit over there. They did a great job, took some good swings. And but I'm starting to see him settle in. Now he's got a big league. He just needs to go to work.
Coach, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, guys.
It's Dave Van Horn. Had Arkansas within and out of a national title last year, and his starting pitcher Isaiah Campbell nearing the 70 pitch mark. 5 home runs for Arkansas in this game so far. They came in 11th in the nation in home runs. C.J. Willis strikes out to start the 5th. Third strikeout for Campbell, who needed just 12 pitches to get through the 4th. And so that'll help him with his efficiency. 9-hole hitter Saul Garza. To short. Casey Martin. Seven straight retired by Isaiah Campbell. Second trip through the batting order, and the Tigers have gone 1 for 9 against him.
Now batting number 4, Josh Smith.
And back to the top of the order for Josh Smith, who is 1 for 2. Smith played next to Kramer Robertson on LSU's College World Series team 2 years ago. Was the heir apparent at the shortstop position, but injuries got in the way last year for him. Coming out of Catholic High in Baton Rouge. And he chops this one to the right side. A quick frame again for Isaiah Campbell. That was a 7-pitch inning for the Arkansas ace. 5 home runs, including a grand slam. Now leading the SEC in home runs with 69, pulling ahead of Vandy. And that would put him in the top 10 in the country. Matt Goodhart batting in the 3-hole, and he'll face a new LSU pitcher. 6'7", 241-pound right-hander Matthew Beck out of Alexandria, Louisiana. Alexandria High School. Went 2 1/3 last time out against Kentucky. It's an LSU team that in the series finale against Ole Miss trailed both 7-0 and 10-1. Came back to force extras. Popped up, out of play. But a disturbing trend continuing for LSU in that Ole Miss series. Their starting pitching really struggled. None of the 3 starters went more than 4 innings in any of the 3 games.
And now the same today for Hilliard. I know that we've talked about it, but freshman Jaden Hill, freshman Cole Henry will not pitch this weekend. If they get those 2 guys back when they get to the SEC tournament and potentially into the postseason, this is a very, very different LSU club. Henry has looked a part of an ace. They love Hill's stuff. Right now, it's just trying to plug the gaps until they can get them back.
Heck of a gap to plug against Arkansas.
Yeah.
This offense is relentless.
Especially here. I mean, at this place, when the wind's blowing out, crowd shows up the way that they do. They love hitting in this ballpark.
2-2 to Goodhart. Hal Hughes is the new second baseman, and he handles that one. First attempt, 1 down. Saturday, we'll have UFC 237 from Brazil. Rose Namajunas defends her strawweight battle against #1 contender Jessica Andrade in the main event on pay-per-view. ESPN and ESPN Deportes will have the prelims starting at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. To order the main event, go to espnplus.com/ppb. Dominic Fletcher has a 2-run home run. Ball and a strike. Dominic's brother David in the big leagues with the Angels. Plays a little bit of everywhere for the Angels. Bounces this one up the middle. And it's a 1-out single. Angels just brought Shohei Ohtani back.
Hey, he hit 3rd last night, didn't he?
Yeah, he's been hitting 3rd ever since he came back, and that's where he'll be as a designated hitter. His brother, Dominic's brother, has done a nice job offensively. Past week has a couple home runs.
How impressive is Shohei Ohtani and coming back from Tommy John and just, I don't know, sliding in as a big league DH?
He is. It's impressive what he did last year offensively. And not only that, first 2 games are against lefties. I said, here you go. Go out there and face Matthew Boyd.
Here's Heston Kjerstad. Seems more big league organizations are open to the idea of letting guys play both ways.
Check Brendan McKay's stats lately.
Impressive.
He's AA right now.
Yeah.
McKay, who for 3 straight years hit and pitched at Louisville.
And he's not the only one that teams are letting go both ways in the minors. Breaking ball just up.
Well, Michael Lorenzen's doing it with the Cincinnati Reds also.
He's pitching out of the bullpen, and he's often used a pinch hit for the pitcher before he gets on the mound. Whoa. Beck handles a comebacker, gets it to Smith and on to first, and a 1-6-3 double play. LSU trying to find some offense. They trailed by 10 through 5. Let's check the headlines around the SEC. Vandy and Arkansas both in control of their respective divisions. Jake Mangum, top 10 on the all-time Division I hit list. And Florida might be on the wrong side of the bubble. Kevin O'Sullivan's team trying to find the right forecast. And it's a race for the final spot in Hoover. Alabama, Kentucky, and South Carolina separated by 1 game. Only 12 teams make it to the tournament. Let's throw everything up there, including the national seeds, according to D1Baseball.com. KP, what do you think of the latest seed projections?
Yeah, I mean, the one that we haven't really talked about is Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech. That's right back in the middle of it now. I think the one to watch in that, who's not in that top 8 line right now, well, 2 for me, Stanford and East Carolina. East Carolina's got an RPI that fits. They beat North Carolina in a midweek game, and Stanford finishes with teams that could get their RPI back to the point of where they belong there. Stanford, UCLA now tied for the Pac-12. But I just think if Stanford wins the Pac, wins 2 of their last 3 series, they still have Arizona State, they still have Oregon State and Cal. I think Stanford vaults back into that top 8.
No Pac-12 tournament, so a couple of weekends left in Pac-12 play. Stanford's got such a great record, and the polls love the Cardinal. As Watson goes down looking, why are they so low when it comes to seeding? Is it an RPI issue with the Cardinal?
It's an RPI issue, and honestly, it's one of those years to where they went 2 out of 3 from Fullerton. Fullerton's below 500, so that's going to beat you in the RPI. Most years that's beneficial. Texas, from an RPI standpoint, not where you thought they would be. They were 3 or 4 weeks ago. They're not that. So, I mean, 2 teams that you would think are going to really benefit you at the end of the year from an RPI standpoint just haven't had good years, and that's hurt Stanford.
Antoine Duplantis, 1 for 2 tonight. 19 pitches over the previous 2 innings for Isaiah Campbell.
And wasn't it in the 3rd that we were talking about Campbell's pitch count getting up there?
Yeah.
About since the time you said that, Tom, he's been really efficient. And that's what he's been throughout the course of this year.
Yeah.
Well, he's been able to get 8 straight outs. And on minimal pitches, looking at averaging just 3 pitches per at-bats. During that, you look at the 5th inning. After the strikeout, which was on 3 pitches, Garza swung at the first pitch. You were out of it in 7 pitches in that 5th inning.
One and 2 to Duplantis. Do we have SEC track and field results? How did Mondo do today?
He's jumping Saturday. I talked to Antoine about it today because he can't go see him. I don't think Paul Maneri let him shoot up the street and miss a few innings in the middle of that one.
We have 16 regional sites in baseball, and track and field to make it to the national meet. You have 2 sites, East and West. The majority of the SEC will head to Jacksonville for the East Regional after the SEC championships this weekend. Can you tell I spent some time around the hotel today talking to folks?
Oh, well, that's pretty impressive.
You're more social than I thought.
I will say,
to other people.
I will say that during breakfast, us 3 did have the most body fat.
Yeah, that was.
And we were wearing the loosest fitting clothes.
Yes, I had 3 sweatshirts on.
Let's just put it this way. The syrup and the pancakes were barely touched by the track and field athletes going through the buffet line.
You're right.
I felt bad for the biscuits and gravy, so I went ahead and loaded up.
Yep, I doubled up.
One hopper. What a pick by Casey Martin. Yes, sir.
What a pick.
And over at first to help him out, it's Trevor Ezell.
Oh, wow.
Huh. That's a few wows. And that does deserve a tip of the cap right there.
All around. Good play right here on Martin. Picks it up well off the bat. Clears it so he can do the backhand. And then Ezell at first base. That's a tough pick at first base. Talk about in-between hop. Stays with it. Tries to show a little flexibility there. I'll give it a 6 on the stick. Did not stick that landing.
Wow.
But he did get
tough
the play.
Judge.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, the guy just bails his shortstop out, and you're picking him apart for that?
The Russian judge is not kind tonight.
Oh, a little sense of humor here, guys. Look at that 5th inning. It's the one that stands out, Kyle. 7 pitches.
Giovanni DiGiacomo pinch hitting for LSU with 2 outs here in the 6th. By the way, speaking of Mondo Duplantis, cleared a world-leading 5.94 meters at the LSU Invitational last week. Second best clearance in NCAA outdoor history. I think he'll do all right this weekend. 3-0 to DiGiacomo. Picked up the nickname Como in high school, and his Twitter handle is Como Rapido.
Eat fast?
Yeah. Thanks for the translation. Have a chance to run if he wants with 2 down here in the 6th. We showed the projections a moment ago, and according to D1 Baseball, LSU would be a 16 seed, the 16 seed, which would mean, according to their projections, LSU would host in the first round, host a regional. And so the importance of LSU finishing strong cannot be overstated. Reed looks at a strike. It's an obvious home field advantage for LSU at the box. Last year they traveled to Corvallis and they lost in the regional final to Oregon State. Campbell spins it in for a strike.
Finishing home next weekend, Auburn comes to Baton Rouge. Tanner Burns now back in the rotation for Auburn this weekend. Then off to Hoover, where it just always seems that LSU stays for a while. They've been very good in Hoover under Paul Maneri.
It seems they always have something to play for in Hoover. And what I mean by that is if LSU is in position or on the bubble as a host or as a national seed, they've used that as a catapult to lock those things down. I don't know what's going to be on the line, for example, for Arkansas when they make it there.
Agreed, and I think Vanderbilt's going to be in that same boat.
Pulled to the right side. Kenley leading the league in assists. Gets another. 1 base run over the last 3 innings for LSU. They trail by 10.
He got it in the cup. Auburn has walked it off. Oh, he tattoos it.
The Rebels roll to an SEC tournament tie.
How about that young man? He's one of the best in the country.
Man, I'm all jacked up. Let's get to Hoover.
Tuesday, May 21st, 10:30 Eastern. We'll have the action from Hoover, Alabama in the SEC tournament all week long on the SEC network, and then the championship game on ESPN2. Jack Kenley leads off the sixth for Arkansas. He hit a grand slam last time up. Eduardo, you weren't at Hoover last year, but you may have been paying attention to the clip. It was like midnight one random night after rain delays and everything.
When the fog rolled in?
No, not the fog. When the guy down the left field line caught a foul ball in his styrofoam cup.
What was his name? Your buddy?
Nick in his magic cup.
His magic cup. It was an incredibly athletic play. It
Really?
was awesome. Yes. I mean, and we started going crazy because it was midnight, which it feels like we're there every night at midnight.
A lot of rain delays in Hoover.
Yes. Yeah. Nick was proud of himself.
Yeah.
And we were proud of Nick, honestly.
We never found out what was in Nick's cup.
Well, there wasn't anything in it then.
Prior
I got a pretty
to
good
the
idea
breakage.
what was in it earlier.
A little baseball water.
Yes. Yep.
Speaking of baseball water and barbecue and whatever else might be in the stadium tonight, Hog Noxious has moved his focus from the SEC umpires to Eduardo Perez. He says, come on down, we'll find a seat for you.
I wonder if he's trying to tell me get off the mic.
Yeah.
All right, I get it.
No. Sure he's got food down there for you.
Oh, no, but I've been already invited over there to Mary's Grill.
Okay.
Were you going to tell us?
Well, remember last year I went over to the grill, and it was travel day for us also.
Yeah.
And I cooked up a storm out there. And then I had to get on the airplane smelling like I had just finished barbecuing
An entire hog.
an entire hog.
Didn't somebody say
Oh, a
something?
lady came up to me and said, so, I guess you've been barbecuing all day. I said, yes, ma'am.
No, I was
I have.
working.
I smelled delicious.
You're one of the few people to get paid to barbecue. Jacob Nesbitt at the plate.
It was an overall success.
I'm going to pitch this show idea. I don't know who's listening right now, but crack open your laptop, send an email, whatever you need to do. I think it would be perfect for any of our family of networks, but especially for the SEC network. And you guys are welcome to co-host it with me if you'd like. But we
talked about this.
Yes, we need a SEC cook-off.
I believe I'm all in. I agree.
Now, the LSU folks, they're going to get creative with their dishes. Ben McDonald loves to tell the tale of the coubillon that his mother-in-law will serve up. Coubillon, he says the key is if you happen to scoop up the catfish head, just put it right back in the stew and pick another ladle full and move on.
Okay, Kubi on, Kubi off. I'm out on that one.
You're out on the coubillon?
Yeah.
I'm all in. I'm all in on the cook-off, though. The tailgating.
We're the judges, aren't we?
I just don't understand, and you guys are probably a lot more accustomed to this than I am, but we drove right by some pretty darn good ribs on the way in here. I smelled them. I didn't have to see them.
Oh,
and you
yeah,
guys
right,
just
we
continued to go, and I was like, but.
Well, we're not the ones on the diet. Ball goes under the glove of Josh Smith, and headed to third is Jack Kenley.
You should have had that ball, too.
Yeah. He usually does.
And this is surprising because as soon as he comes out of his spot, his strong point, and watch Smith at shortstop, stays up. This is where you have to go down, and he looked towards second base before he made the play, before he could even catch the baseball. 9 out of 10 times he makes that play, especially to his left.
Here's the 8-hole hitter, Casey Opitz, with runners at first and third. I'm talking about the great catchers that they've had in this program over the years. Remember Brian Walker?
Yes.
Last I saw, he was an assistant coach at Wichita State. You can ask Dave Neal about this the next time you see him. And if you're watching and have a second screen in front of you, you can find this on YouTube right now. One of the funniest plate appearances I've ever seen. Dave Neal was calling the game when Brian Walker was playing here 10, 12 years ago. And he faked getting hit by a pitch, and he sold it. He sold it more than anyone has sold being hit by a pitch, maybe in the history of the game. And replays prove that he did not indeed get hit by the pitch.
I think I was doing the game. Remember another game that I did here when a guy in left field tried to catch a ball with a visor.
What?
Yes.
What?
It went right through the middle of it. It was beautiful.
Garza has a kick away from him. Couple of Razorbacks will advance, including Kenley coming home. It'll be a wild pitch.
It was 3 years ago.
Charged to Matthew Beck. So sometimes you would ask a follow-up question like, what inning were they in? I choose to ask, what drink was he on?
I don't know, but we were running the replay of the home run, and I'm talking about the home run, and it's a second look that we've got, and the ball goes into the outfield. I'm like, whoa, 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 hold on. That guy just tried to catch a ball with a visor.
I want what he's having.
He squared it up, but no, that one doesn't work.
Reed. Smith calls him off. One down. This week, our Sunday night baseball game. NL Central matchup between Christian Yelich and the Brewers and Javi Baez and the Cubs. They finish up a 3-game series at Wrigley Field. 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern, 5 Central at Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown on ESPN and the ESPN app. Eduardo, how will history remember the Marlins trade of Christian Yelich?
Really well. Really well. And Giancarlo Stanton and Marcell Ozuna. Even though Stanton's on the disabled list with bicep issues.
Christian Franklin at the plate.
Have him signed to a team-friendly deal. That's Christian Yelich, and you still cannot afford him.
Marlins got Lewis Brinson, Monte Harrison, Isan Diaz, and Jordan Yamamoto in that trade.
Well, and this is the thing. We only look at what's going on now. Obviously, he ended up winning the MVP last year. But Isan Diaz is a very darn good player. And Monte Harrison, that's elite talent. If you can put it together, those two guys could make a big-time dent in Major League Baseball in a couple years.
Yamamoto pitched well last year, made his way onto the Marlins 40-man roster.
Brinson just got sent down to the minor leagues like a week ago.
Swing and a miss for Franklin. 2 down. You're now Trevor Uzell coming to the plate. What an opportunity, by the way, for Trevor Uzell as a transfer from Southeast Missouri State to not only have an opportunity to play in the SEC, to play in with a top 10 program, have a real shot to play in Omaha in the College World Series. And he's not just an add-on. This guy's a leadoff hitter. He's got 7 home runs. And if they get there, if they return to Omaha, he figures to be a big piece of the puzzle. Beck off the mound, and he's going to get a visit from Garza.
This is not good.
Hopefully he just slipped on the mound.
Yeah, his spike didn't catch. Watch his front spike. That lead side, it kind of goes all the way out.
Slipped.
Yeah, and knee kind of hyperextended when he came all the way down, and the arm finished in a really weird angle. That's what scares you a little bit when that front spike doesn't catch, because I mean, that really becomes your anchor. Those spikes go into the dirt. That's when you got to go over the top of them. And that time that front plant foot just slid on him.
Christian Couture is the LSU athletic trainer, and he has earned his salary this season. He has spent a ton of time on the field and watching this LSU pitching staff. Paul Maneri okay with what he saw there, and he and Christian will head back to the dugout.
I will add this, former Florida State Seminole right there.
By the way, is it true that the guy who tried to catch the home run with the visor during the game was trying to catch an Alex Bregman home run? Does that sound right to you?
No, because it was 3 years ago, because that's when my car broke in Kansas City and I had to buy a new one.
How would you remember such a day?
So here's the kicker. So I'm at the dealership in Kansas City because my transmission blew. And the kid that I'm buying the car from looks at me and he goes, "Hey, did you watch that Arkansas game where the guy tried to catch a ball with his visor?"
No.
I swear to
Come
God.
on.
Absolutely swear to you. So, yeah, I did.
Well, Beck has fixed his transmission. He's able to finish the sixth. Breaking news on that home run from years ago after this.
Well, he's looked a part of an AC entire season. Isaiah Campbell was at it again. Not exactly the start that they wanted. Campbell gives up one in the first, one in the second, but then he got really good after that. The breaking ball was better. Fastball command, especially the ability to really land that fastball glove side. So Campbell goes 6. Strikeout 4, gives up just 4 hits, and again puts Arkansas in a position to win game 1 of a series. He's done it consistently all year.
So Campbell gives way to Cole Ramage, a sophomore from South Lake, Texas. And he will face bottom of the order, starting with Daniel Cabrera. In the 6th hole, Cabrera's got a home run to his name. 7-1 on this season in ERA south of 5 with 44 Ks against 20 walks for Ramage. So we heard from multiple people via text and everything else about that visor catch, no catch. And the article from AL.com from 2015, it was an Alex Bregman 6th inning home run that accounted for LSU's lone run in the 5-1 Arkansas win, first game of that series on a Thursday night. Bregman has gone on to many home runs, including 2 in the World Series. Either of those were caught by a visor. Second overall pick in the 2015 draft. That video is available on YouTube. There is no video of Kyle Peterson's SUV breaking down on the road to Omaha. You remember where you were when the car broke down?
Yeah, I remember what came out of my mouth, too. I was just north of Kansas City, right next to a Hy-Vee. I sat in the parking lot of the grocery store and found the closest Chevy dealership.
Man, you have had some interesting road trips. You forgot your ESPN shirt on this one. Earlier this year, we went to Florida. You forgot your pants. There's a trip last year. You forgot your sport coat.
Last year here, I had to bring him one.
You had to bring him emergency sport coat.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, like some people will on a road trip go buy a new belt or a new tie or find a new. You bought a car on a road trip.
Tried to expense it. That one didn't get through. I was looking for the line where you put meal money, car.
Yeah, I
have insert right there.
Miscellaneous.
I have yet to find that drop down on Concur. There is a miscellaneous tab that some people take advantage of, I'm told. Cabrera's home run in the second was his 10th of the year. So you've gone on road trips to Arkansas, and you've returned home with bobbleheads and SUVs.
Yep.
A laser foul into the first row. Not far from where the Stadium will be extended. They include a new locker room, a new pitching lab, and this ball hit out towards where that building will be. It is off the scoreboard and gone. Cabrera's second bomb of the night. He is straight mashing.
Yeah, it's a nice swing that Daniel Cabrera has, and he's not giving up any at-bats here. 2 for 3 now in the night. Those 2 home runs, one off a changeup, and this one right down the middle, 13-2 score. All of a sudden you get a fastball right down the middle, make it 13-3. Good balance. Leads the team now with 11.
Gavin Dugas spot in the lineup. Here in the 7-hole, he is 0 for 2. Eduardo, didn't you have some travel issues last year with some luggage?
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Seems like just yesterday.
It does.
What happened?
I forgot my suitcase at the airport. And mind you, I always travel just with a carry-on, and I was talking to our boss, and I left the airplane, continued to have a conversation, saw the car rental bus in LAX, and got on the bus. I said, I better get on it. Got on the shuttle, got in the car from LA, drove to Anaheim, and when I got to the hotel, the valet gentleman said, "Do you want me to get your bag in the back?" I said, I forgot it at LAX.
No, you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so I had to go purchase some shoes.
Wait, you drove there without shoes on?
Well, I mean, to dress up, you have to get to the ballpark.
That's when you stole my belt in Omaha.
Oh, I borrowed it.
Did you ever return it? C.J. Willis with a single?
No, he didn't.
I tried, but I brought you a new one.
Yeah, you bought it at a gas station.
I did.
Art, you forgot your luggage in a separate rental car, didn't you?
I did, and then
that was at College Station.
Yeah,
right?
you
that
were
was
there.
In Austin. I'm always there for all these things.
Yeah,
it's great.
I didn't know it was gone. The valet says, "Sir, would you like some help with your luggage?" And I looked at him like, "Hey, I got it, pal. Okay, this hotel's only 5 stories tall. I think I can carry my own bag up to the room." The trunk opens up and there's no bag. And then I met one of Central Texas's finest the next day, and yada yada. The next year during football season, I had to pay a speeding ticket in the Dime Box Courthouse.
There we go.
Brock Mathis is getting a chance to hit. He's entering for Saul Garza. He's an interesting story.
By the way, I'm not done with my suitcase, but
by
it's
all
okay.
means.
I want to hear this interesting story. I do.
We talk a lot about scholarship limitations in college baseball. Only 11.7 available. And minimal spots on rosters. Where Brock Mathis was originally committed to Louisville. And he was going to head to Louisville to play for Dan McDonald's team on a partial scholarship. So he arrives on campus, and just days before class starts, he finds out that the loan he had applied for didn't go through. He couldn't attend Louisville. And so after being home for a week, he was lucky enough to find a spot in junior college and headed there for a year before coming to LSU. That is not an issue that affects most student athletes. Typically, in most sports, you get a scholarship, school is paid for. There are no other loans that you need to take out, you or your family, to pay for school. But that kept Mathis from playing for the Louisville Cardinals. Ended up at Northwest Florida State Community College. And the only reason he ended up there is he got a phone call from a scout who had seen him play and said, "How would you like to go play ball in Destin, Florida? I know somebody there." So he decided, well, that's really my only option. Sight unseen, had never met the coaching staff, didn't know where campus was besides the beach. Pickoff attempt and safe at second. It'll turn into a stolen base for C.J. Willis. A strikeout for Mathis.
I like the pitch, and just a heads up from Opitz. I really like Opitz back behind the plate. So he saw this right away, and there was some kind of a visual that went down to Ezel, the first baseman. The only problem is Willis was so far off, he was caught no man's land. The only chance he had was to try to go on to second base. Ezel not enough time to make that throw to Casey Martin.
Here's Josh Smith.
Actually, a really good adjustment by Willis.
Absolutely. This is the only chance he had.
Was taking aggressive secondaries. Did not hesitate.
To the right side, past Kenley. Around third is Willis. And thanks to that stolen base, he will score on a single through the right side. Tell us more about your luggage, Eduardo.
So I called the airline. They said, don't worry, sir. We have it here. We'll hold it here for you.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah, so I was all calm. I did the game. I was all proud. I said, I'll drive back after the game because I have to drive to I have to fly to Omaha in the morning. So when I get to the airport around 12-ish, suitcase is nowhere to be found.
But the airline said they'd hold it for you.
They had it.
Oh.
Suitcase nowhere to be found. We left it right here. Did you put it inside the room? No, we left it right outside the room. Suitcase, bye-bye.
Runner goes, pitches a strike. Smith will get to second, likely defensive indifference.
So, you talk about miscellaneous? I'll give you some miscellaneous.
Zach Watson at the plate, and the curveball is waved at. You didn't share the story about buying some clothes in the airport, and the ladies inside the store did not know you spoke Spanish.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And little did they know that you overheard and understood every word that they were saying about you.
That happens a lot.
Kenley into right, Kerstead coming in behind him. It'll be the final out of the inning. It's time to stretch, not just the stories, but also our legs. Arkansas up 13-4. Let's take a look at national headlines around the world of college baseball. 9 teams in the coaches poll for the SEC. They had a record 11 earlier this season. UCLA's #1 for the 8th straight week. 5 series wins against ranked opponents for the Bruins out west. And Oregon State lost a tough series to Oklahoma State last week. They were swept thanks to a pair of 1-run victories for the Cowboys. Does that change how you feel about Oregon State and their postseason hopes?
No. I still think they're a borderline host, I would say, at this point. What changed it for me is when they lost Kevin Abel for the year. If you lose Abel, went down with Tommy John, it was so good for him in Omaha last year. That changed their weekend rotation so significantly.
Casey Martin at the plate. 2-1 from Matthew Beck, who's not going to be available tomorrow after a 40-plus pitch outing tonight. Martin is 3 for 4 tonight. Sharply hit, and it's a 3-hit evening for Casey Martin. Kevin Abel won the national championship for Oregon State last year. 2-hit shutout in finals of Game 3. Only 3 starts this year, and he was 2-0.
4 wins for Abel last year in the College World Series. 23 strikeouts, was so good in that Game 3. See, too, because based on when he had it, he'd be 12 months off in the middle of the season next year. Abel draft eligible next year.
And already with the Tommy John, which now for organizations, that's more of a plus than a
Yeah, it's definitely not seen as a negative that it used to be.
No.
Matt Goodhart at the plate. Explain that to the viewers.
Well, before you had Tommy John surgery, there was always the what-if factor. But we've seen such advances in the surgery that once you have it, it's rare that you see it done twice. Now, there have been pitchers that have had it twice. Nathan Eovaldi, to name one at the big league level. But
played with Chad Fox. He had it 3 times.
As did Johnny Benner.
He got back to the big leagues after every one of them.
That's, again, it's a surgery that it's not career threatening so it's a plus for a lot of organizations.
Into center. Watson has it, 1 down. We've got Game 6 for you in the NBA playoffs between the Warriors and Rockets. That's in Houston, Friday, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Golden State is a win away from eliminating Houston from the playoffs for the 4th time in the last 5 years. NBA Countdown gets it all started at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
That's going 7, guys.
Really?
Yes. I don't see Houston losing in Houston. And without KD, most likely.
Calf strain for KD. I used to get a lot of those just because I was so fast. I think sometimes my calves just couldn't handle my speed. Get a lot of calf strains.
The speed or the weight?
Yes.
That's good.
Dominic Fletcher at the plate, 2-0. LSU made a change with their rotation, and they put Zach Hess out of the rotation and back into the bullpen. Speaking of Steph Curry, one of the best players in SoCon history, so was Zach Hess's dad, Carl Hess, who was an All-American at Liberty. Retired his jersey. We don't figure to see the younger Hess tonight. That ball trapped by Cabrera, gets loose. No one wants to pick it up. Martin around to score with ease. RBI double Dominic Fletcher. 3-hit game for Fletcher. 4-hit game for Martin. 14-hit game for Arkansas.
It's impressive speed.
When Martin gets him going.
That's impressive.
Right? That is a different kind of speed. It is a different kind of speed. I saw a replay of the inside of Parker last weekend, and when he has a chance, all right, so here's the read. And when Cabrera slides and it gets away from him, now Martin knows he's got a chance. He can float when he gets it going. It is such a difference maker for Martin. It's speed, it's power, it's a big-time arm. I think the only question in short is just whether or not the glove's going to be consistent enough for him to stay there. But that's got potential big league star written all over it. I know there's a lot of swing and miss, but there's just some things that you can't teach.
Fletcher single to second on the throw. 4 for 5 night for Casey Martin. A lot of smiles for the Razorbacks tonight. Up 14-4. Kerstad walked.
All right, so we talked about the speed of Casey Martin. He's now got 12 home runs this year. 3 of them are inside the Parkers. Watch this. When he knows he's got a chance, so the ball goes off the center field wall. Now good luck. I mean, it could have been a stand up inside the Parker. Watch how fast Eddie. Watch this.
Yeah, and it's awesome the way he just gets out of the box, thinking 3 is what most people think, not him.
How quiet his head is when he runs, too. I mean, it's just everything is so efficient. 14 and a half seconds to get all the way around.
2 inside the Parkers last week, 3 on the season for Martin. Here's Jack Kenley. 3rd consecutive game that LSU has found themselves trailing by double digits. Arkansas will send in a pinch runner, Curtis Washington Jr., freshman from West Memphis. That guy's been ripping the ball in midweek games for the Razorbacks. Two and 1 to Kenley. Grand slam, a single walk. Pretty good night.
Kenley was the guy coming into the season was thought of as more defense first. He's got an OPS right at 1,000.
Whoa.
May have just gone up. No, it didn't.
2 down. Tagging from second is Fletcher. And that'll bring Jacob Nesbitt up. Freshman from Coppell, Texas, at a Coppell High School. Trivia time, Eduardo.
Let's do it.
Name the big league pitcher from Coppell High School.
Coppell, Texas, Coppell High School. I will say I give up.
Clayton Kershaw.
Give you a hint. 3-time All-Star.
Okay.
2 Cy Youngs.
2 Cy Youngs. River Clemens.
Current big leaguer Corey Kluber.
Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber went to Stetson, too.
Two on for Nesbitt. Off the tape, and that one will be foul.
I must admit, I would not have answered that one even on 5 tries. Good recruiting by Stetson.
Yeah.
Did you get an attendance number tonight, Tommy? You see one?
I sure did. Paid attendance 9,220. They scanned 7,283 tickets tonight on a cold, misty, almost rainy night. 7,200 inside the ballpark. I spot no visors. Nesbitt goes down swinging, but the Razorbacks push another across. 2 touchdowns for Arkansas. You're watching the SEC on ESPN from Baum Walker Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. RBI girls doing their thing on their dugout, and the Arkansas Bats doing their thing. 14 runs on 15 hits. Antoine Duplantis leads off the 8th for LSU. Antoine Duplantis 21 hits away from tying Eddie Furness for the all-time LSU career hits record. chopper to the right side. Kenley takes care of it. One down.
All right, so Duplantis has got a chance. I don't think he can catch Jake Mangum. Mangum's got about a 30-hit lead on him right now, but Duplantis could end up second in career hits in SEC history if he passes Eddie Furness. Mangum's at 363, so let's do a little math here.
No.
So we've got 6 or 7 regular season games plus the SEC tournament, so they could play anywhere from, well, probably 2 to 4 games there. That's 11. Regionals for sure. If Mississippi State makes it to Omaha, Mangum could get 400 hits. 37 hits left, and they could potentially play another, what, 20 games?
And he's going to have to do it with elite pitching in the SEC.
He's done it for the last 4 years facing that.
He has.
He's had some 10-hit weekends too. I mean, he can get close to it in a hurry.
Giovanni DiGiacomo has the count at 2-2. And he loops this one down the line and foul. You can go spend some time with Jake next week, is that right?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go down there on Wednesday. I'm going to throw him BP.
You know what I want to know?
You're going to throw him BP?
Yeah.
Why?
What are you looking at me like that for?
I am. Why are you trying to mess with his routine?
What are you talking about?
He needs 37.
I'm going to get him locked in.
He's been locked in for 3.5 years.
I'm going to get him more locked in. Let me tell you something, Eddie. When I was on the mound, I could get a lot of people locked in. that I can still do.
That's right. Alfonso Soriano, you got him locked in. You're right. You're right.
We're going back there. Really. Skinny guy. No way he could swing a bat that big. He could.
DiGiacomo fouls it off of his calf. So you didn't fear him. Who was the most feared hitter you threw to?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, this is
left fielder Christian Franklin's got it.
What do you got, Eddie?
2 down.
Yeah, well, today we're looking at some swings, right, around the cage, and we're looking at Josh Smith's swing, and you're like, oh, I really like it. And I said, yeah, it reminds me a lot of Adam Kennedy. And he goes, yeah, he took me deep.
First pitch of the region of my junior year. First pitch of the game. 1-0. Oh, yeah, that guy can hit too.
Here's Chris Reed.
Remember, I got booed at home because I walked McGuire.
What year was that?
90.
Was it 98?
99, I think. Booed loud at home.
I think maybe there are a few people there who bought tickets to see him hit.
Oh, I thought they were there they weren't there to watch me and my 5 ERA. They were there to watch McGuire.
Told you earlier that Chris Reed comes from an LSU family. His grandpa, Dr. Roy Constantine, was an LSU professor, masters of horticulture. Introduced strawberry breeding and new wine grape breeding programs. Big fan of that guy.
Love him.
Could use some of his research right now. Tonight after Nuggets Blazers Game 6, don't miss SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. He'll have post-game coverage from Portland with Tim Legler in studio, plus a Raptors Sixers Game 6 breakdown. And Barry Melrose joins the show to analyze Hurricanes Bruins Game 1. SportsCenter, 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. LSU's gone back to the bullpen and have made a change in center field. To that in a moment, but first, Baton Rouge's own Clay Moffitt, 6'4", 241 pounds. The reliever's 2-0 on the year with a 2.81 ERA and 16 innings worked. His dad, Tommy Moffitt, strength coach for LSU football, just up the road in Kansas City tonight for the national convention. He'll drive down to Fayetteville at 5 a.m. to be there for Clay's graduation tomorrow at 10. A lot of times what teams will do with graduation on campus and a team on the road is they'll hold a mini ceremony in the hotel or somewhere else for whatever athletes happen to be there. For LSU, they could do track and field and the baseball guys with an honorary ceremony on the road. His dad, well renowned for his work in the weight room. Here's Zach Plunkett getting a chance to hit. To right field and Duplantis. Can you imagine what the national convention is like for football strength coaches? Hey, can you lift this?
How much do you bench?
How many machines do you have in your strength conditioning program?
I know a lot of football coaches that would be impressed with Ole Miss's baseball weight room.
Yeah, you guys see this place.
Really?
Yeah, it's 14 weight racks.
14 weight racks in the baseball program?
Baseball. All baseball.
Ay, bendito sea el Señor.
I was thinking the same thing.
Took the words right out of my mouth, too.
Guys, guess where I'm headed tomorrow?
I know. I know where you're going, but go ahead.
I'm going to Big Shooterville, Tallahassee.
Yeah, I like it. And why, though?
I'm going to, well, Mike Martin's, there's a roast for him on Saturday. And can't wait. Can't wait to see all the people that have a lot of love for Mike Martin. It's the last home games that he will be as a head coach before they take on Louisville next weekend.
Are you ready? You know what you're going to say?
That's why I'm asking for help here. I need some guidance from the audience. You know, feel free, tweet at me, let me know. But I have a little bit of. I have something. I have a little surprise for him.
Franklin to the left side, backhanded, Reed. 2 down.
But it's going to be a good shindig over there.
Do you hold anything back, or you just come guns blazing?
I'm coming guns blazing. I will tell you this, and I did not know this when I did commit to Florida State. My number throughout high school was number 11. So I thought.
You thought you were going to get it when you got there?
I thought I was going to get it. And they told me, no, it's taken. I said, by who? They said, by 11. I was like, what? So.
That'll be fun.
Ask him about the time in the ACC championship game he tried to challenge a ruling that had he won, it would have taken a run off the team for a run off the board for his own team. That's a good one to bring up.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Or his round at the Masters. At Augusta National, where he only had to find one par in the last 3 holes to break 80.
I heard about that one.
No!
That's what he said. Yes. His reaction in the interview was the best.
Got a mix up there. Moffitt.
Yeah. It's hard to cross up a catcher with no one on second, right?
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Maybe he's thinking about what to tell Mike Martin.
How Hughes handles it. Don't laugh, but LSU needs 10 to tie. They practically did that against Ole Miss last time out.
Drew Bianco hits one way back. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye on his father's 52nd birthday. Drew Bianco, what a moment for Papa and son Bianco.
And Drew Bianco puckered up on the first pitch he saw against his dad's team. The freshman due to the plate third here in the 9th inning. Happy birthday, Dad.
Did you see his dad's face when he came around third base?
That's great.
Mike was in the dugout and looked down right away. Got a little bat flip in on that one, too. Dad got the last laugh last weekend, though. Ole Miss won a series in Baton Rouge for the first time since 1983.
Or 82.
Ish.
Yeah, ish.
You bought a car that year, too?
Hey, he buys so many cars, he can't remember what year he bought. Here's Daniel Cabrera, 2 home runs for Cabrera. Jacob Burton takes over on the mound for Arkansas. Cabrera has tied his career high for home runs in a game. th appearance of the season for Burton. Foul territory, and nobody will get there. Hey, there's a story you can talk
Shades
about.
up, right? On the opposite side.
Let's change the subject for the Arkansas fans.
Okay.
You know, Florida State baseball has great history, and tied in with the LSU football program, Jack Marucci.
Yes.
And his bats go back to that time when you were playing at Florida State.
Yeah, Jack Marucci was the assistant head trainer for Florida State.
Into center. Fletcher to the track.
And now Jack Marucci for years has been the head athletic trainer for the LSU Tigers. So Jack decided to make some bats for his son Gino in a shed in the back of his home by hand. Was making them, and then one day I get a "while you were out" notice while I was with the Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals, and he said, "Hey, I'm coming into town in a couple weeks. What model do you use? I want to make you a bat." So he did. Fast forward to the story, he brought in some bats. They were great. I said, "We got to use this in a game." Used it in a game. Albert Pujols grabbed one. All of a sudden, Barry Larkin grabs one also with the Cincinnati Reds. He gets the first hit in the big leagues with the Marucci bat. Mike Cameron gets the first home run with the Marucci bat. And the legend began, and not only that, it's the most commonly used bat right now at the Major League level. It's the Marucci bat.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Jack's office off the training room with the LSU football facility is like a baseball shrine. He's got letters from the president tucked away in file cabinets. But the way he told me that story is that when you first took the bat to the plate in St. Louis, it hadn't gotten MLB approval.
No, it had
he had
no approval.
Insurance.
Zero
He said,
insurance.
I was sweating bullets that something was going to happen.
He was.
The label didn't meet MLB specs.
it was
like
huge.
twice the size of a normal label.
It was huge. And the bat is actually in Puerto Rico. The original bat is in Puerto Rico. Yeah. And it went through Hurricane Maria. I can't say it went unscathed. Well, but it had the bone rub because he used to bone rub the bat. So it had a big old bone on it next to the M. It was a beauty.
What an amazing story that Jack Marucci decides to make bats for his son in a shed in the backyard and then hands one off to you.
Really
and next thing you know, Drew Bianco gets a 2-out walk to extend the game for LSU.
Really good bats, and then they went into the aluminum bats. The helmets for LSU are Marucci helmets.
Brock Mathis at the plate, 1-0.
The president of Marucci bat.
Kurt Ainsworth, isn't it?
Yeah. The Marucci Sports is Kurt Ainsworth, which is an LSU Tiger. So there's a lot of connections there in Baton Rouge with LSU.
I haven't seen it lately, but there used to be in the Baton Rouge airport a giant Marucci chair made of Marucci bats. But last time I came through there, the chair was gone.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't been in Baton Rouge since I went to visit the Marucci offices. Really proud of what Jack and the fellas have been able to do there.
2-1 to Mathis is yanked foul. Mathis is from Fairfield, Ohio, by way of Northwest Florida State. Told you earlier about his commitment to Louisville and how he never had a chance to enroll there. He's led an interesting life. Comes from a deeply religious family, and his mom and dad used to travel the country pulling a trailer full of musical gear, singing gospel music at various stops. That was a 5-6 year period of his life. The 2-2. Pulled a foul.
He must play some instruments then.
Plays the drums.
There we go.
As a 12-year-old, he got behind the pulpit in front of a crowd of 1,500. And looked perfectly comfortable in the pulpit in front of everyone in the congregation. And he looks comfortable at the plate as he fouls another one off. I asked him about it during batting practice today. He said, what you can't see in the YouTube video is that I was so nervous that my dad was holding my leg to try to keep it from shaking. Limited time at junior college last year with a broken hamate bone and a little swinging bunt. And that'll end it. Arkansas takes game 1. We'll have game 3 of this series Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. 14-4 is the final tonight. 14 runs on 15 hits for Arkansas. One of the best power hitting teams in college baseball shows their power tonight. Campbell the winner to 9-1. Hilliard falls to 0-3 with the loss. Coming up next, SEC storied before they were Cowboys.